Thank you, Margrethe. It's quite a privilege to be here with both of you. Indeed, I will concentrate on the education component, on the European education area component of this package. Earlier today, you had a discussion here in the press room on, and we in the college, on the rule of law. The rule of law defines us, reflects who we are, but the same in a way happens to education. Education can never be seen in a political vacuum. Education reflects Europe, who we are, what we represent today in the world. And education is not only going to an institution to obtain a qualification or a diploma. Education in Europe is about personal fulfillment, is about employability, is about active citizenship and being part of a society that is unique in today's always more unstable and difficult world. So, of course, when we were preparing this communication, we also had to take into account and factor in COVID-19 related developments. The pandemic was like a curtain that we had to sort of slide, and that revealed not only systemic problems in our education systems, but also revealed very new needs and requirements that we had to address. So if you see this communication, you will see that we have chosen a sharp focus, and our approach is edge. It's not broad and shallow. We concentrate on specific issues that can make a difference in the way our education systems develop in Europe. And when you see, you will see that these specific issues, core issues, may still bring some un-European facts and figures that we need urgently to correct, starting with quality. According to OECD data, still we have some way to go to foster equality in our education system. More than 1 in 5 pupils in Europe cannot complete basic reading, mathematics and science, and 1 in 5 young Europeans still do not have basic digital needs, skills, so we need to pull together to address these quality issues. Same thing on inclusion. In Europe, education has always been the main vector for social mobility. Our systems were designed to help everyone excel, not only the few who could afford private education or different means of advancement. So it is vitally important for Europe to keep this inclusion focus, leaving nobody behind, and the same applies to gender. There we have a paradox. From one hand, girls and women have much higher educational attainment levels than men and boys, and they also have lower levels of early school living and education, living and training. And at the same time, in science, we have a gap, and we need many more women and girls into our STEM track. So there we have to address different needs, find out why boys and men underperform in education, and make sure that we fill the gap of women in science as soon as possible. Equally on the transitions, we're spending too much money on digital and green transitions, and we have very noble and ambitious goals, but we have also to be able to bring about the skills and the professions that are needed to support and sustain these transitions. In the years to come, we'll need qualified architects, engineers, construction specialists, on low energy consumption building specialists, and we need to bring these skills about. Same on valorizing teachers and trainers. This is something that also has been traditionally a problem in Europe. Many of our educators feel not fulfilled, not valorized, and operating under considerable stress levels. This was an issue that the consultations made it very clear to us. So we have a collective interest to address this. And finally, on higher education, there, as others retreat from the international scene, Europe has a unique opportunity to advance as a model area for education, for higher education systems. You know that Erasmus is the jewel in our crown, is our flagship program, but still only 5% of students can have access to the Erasmus scholarships. Our ambition is in the years to come to double this percentage. And equally, we want to continue helping universities to converge through mobility, curricula, and commonalities into a European education area, which we hope that will emerge by the end of this mandate. We already have very successful university alliances. Maria Gabriel will give you more detail in this. Finally, as was the case last July with our updated skills agenda, this communication is not about analytics, it's not about diagnostics, it's also about prescription. So we're setting out very concrete, specific targets that are that concern not only one age bracket of the education community, but concern all stages of the education process, from preschool, secondary, and university, and the Commissioner will give you more detail. Finally, I cannot resist to say 2 sentences on the Digital Education Action Plan, on which Margrethe, with her usual eloquence, covered practically everything, and we worked very closely together to blend the education communication with the Digital Education Action Plan. I think what we need here is no more talk on awareness and how important this is and how the pandemic imposed this to happen. But now we need to translate all this sensitivity and awareness into action on the ground. And this should not be seen, as it is still the case, I'm afraid, as something that concerns few, that are the geeks, the ones who know the systems, the ones who work on special offices and special ministries or special schools. I very often hear, oh, this is not something that only Mr. Z or Madam X can do, but she's on holidays now or she went to visit, so there's nobody else. No, this is the sort of change we need. We need to bring digital skills from the level of geek knowledge to the level of making a difference on the ground. And this is a challenge, and these 10 guiding principles that we're putting together will be certainly the best avenue to do just that. Many thanks.